Miss Juliana's going to make our video. This is the legend of the first fire. In the beginning, there was no fire, and the world was cold, until the thunders, who lived up in the sky, sent their lightning and put fire into the bottom of a hollow sycamore tree that grew on an island. So can you guys make some lightning sounds like and stop? Nice. Now Owen is the fire that started in the bottom of a big tree. The animals knew it was there because they could see the smoke coming out of the top, but they could not get to it on account of the water. So they held a council to decide what to do. This was a long time ago. Raven, please stand up. Eli, are you the raven? Every animal that could fly or swim was anxious to go after the fire. Just stand up with your feathers in your hand. The raven offered, and because he was so large and strong, they thought he could surely do the work, so he was sent first. So you can fly around the island. He flew high and far across the water and alighted on the sycamore tree. But while he was wondering what to do next, the heat had scorched all his feathers black, so stop right at the edge of the sycamore tree. Stop right here at the edge. That's right. And then he got his feathers scorched black. And he was frightened. And he flew back to his home. And he came back with no fire. Next, the little owl volunteered to go. Paige, you can fly around. And reached the place safely, but while she was looking down into the hollow tree, a blast of hot air came up and nearly burned out her eyes. Ooh, show that to the camera. Burn out your eyes. Ooh. She managed to fly home as best she could, but it was a long time before she could see well, and her eyes are red to this day. Big owl, stand up, please. Then the hooting owl and the horned owl went. But by the time they got to the hollow tree, the fire was burning so fiercely that the smoke nearly blinded them, and the ashes carried up by the wind made white rings about their eyes. They had to come home again without the fire, but with all their rubbing, they were never able to rid of the white rings. Now no more of the birds came to venture, and so the little oosty snake, the black racer, that's you, Colby, yep, so you can slither around the fire, said he would go through the water and bring back some fire. He swam across to the island and crawled through the grass to the trees and went in by a small hole at the bottom. So go in through a small hole, pretend, just come on in towards Owen. The heat and smoke were too much for him, and after dodging blindly over the hot ashes, so dodge blindly, Colby, like this. Dodge around, it's very hot in there. Until he was almost on fire himself. He managed by good luck to get out again at the same hole, but his body had been scorched black, and he has ever since had the habit of darting and doubling on his tracks as if trying to escape from close quarters. So Colby, you can come on back to your spot. He came back, and the great black snake came. Who is the big snake? Arwen. So you can come around the fire. The climber offered to go for the fire. She swam over to the island and climbed up the tree on the outside, as the black snake always does. So come on up the outside, nice, towards the fire. As the black snake always does, but when she put her head down into the hole, the smoke choked her. So can you cough, Arwen? Like, nice, so go up the side of the tree, look down, go up the side, keep on going up, stand up, and look down, and go, the smoke choked you, okay? And then he fell into the burning stump. Okay, so you fell into the stump, and before he could climb out again, he was as black as the ashes. She was as black as the ashes, and then she swam back to her home. Now they held another council, for there was still no fire and the world was cold, but birds, snakes, and four-footed animals all had some excuse for not going, because they were all afraid to venture near the burning sycamore, until at last Kaya Cane-C, the water spider, said she would go. This was not the water spider that looks like a mosquito, but the other one, with black downy hair and red stripes on her body. Who has the spider? Jacob, stand up. She can run on top of the water and dive to the bottom, so there would be no trouble to get over to the island. But the question was, how could she bring back the fire? manage that," said the water spider. So she spun a thread from her body and wove it into a bowl. Can you make a little bowl on top of the spider, Jacob? Make a little bowl on top of her. A little tiny bowl out of the thread from her body. Then she crossed over to the island and threw the grass to where the fire was still burning. She put one little coal of fire into her bowl. So go get the coal from Owen and put the coal right on top of the spider. You can hold it on there, Jacob. There you go. And then she swam back all the way to her world. And that made the fire burn in their world. She crossed over to the island and threw the grass to where the fire was still burning. She put one little coal of fire into her bowl, and she came back home, and the water spider still keeps her trusty bowl. The end.